All right, guys, we're back. She told me to wait in certain places for her. When I was real little, I had to wait in small places, like on a porch or a doorway. Now, don't leave the park until I get back, she'd say. I never liked it when she left. I had a stuffed animal, a little giraffe, and I'd hug it the whole time she was gone. When I got bigger, I was allowed to stay in bigger areas. Like, stay on this block, don't leave the park. But even then, I still held Jaffe. Stanley guessed that Jaffe was the name of Zero's giraffe. And then one day, she didn't come back, Zero said. His voice sounded hollow. I waited for her at Laney Park. Laney Park, said Stanley. Huh, I've been there. You know that playscape? Asked Zero. Yeah, I've played on it. Well, I waited there for more than a month, said Zero. You know that tunnel that you crawl through between the slide and the swing bridge? That's where I slept. They ate 4 onions apiece and drank about half a jar of water. Stanley stood up and looked around, and everything looked the same in all directions. When I left camp, I was headed straight towards Big Thumb, he said. I saw the boat off to the right, so that means we have to turn a little to the left. Zero was lost in thought. What? Okay, he said. They headed out, and it was Stanley's turn to carry the sack. Some kids had a birthday party, Zero said. I guess it was about 2 weeks after my mom left. There was a picnic table next to the playscape, and balloons were tied to it. The kids all looked to be the same age as me, and one girl said hi to me and asked me if I wanted to play. I wanted to, but I didn't know. But I knew. So I wanted to, but I didn't. I knew I didn't belong at that party, even though it wasn't their playscape. There was this one mother who kept staring at me like I was some kind of monster. Then later a boy asked me if I wanted a piece of cake. But then that same mother told me to go away. And she told all the other kids to stay away from me, so I never got that piece of cake. I ran away so fast, I left Jaffe behind. Did you ever find him? It? For a moment, Zero didn't answer. Then he said, he wasn't real. Stanley thought again about his own parents and how awful it would be for them to never know if he was dead or alive. He realized that was how Zero must have felt, not knowing what happened to his own mother. He wondered why Zero never mentioned his father. Hold on, Zero said, stopping abruptly. We're going the wrong way. No, this is it, said Stanley. You were heading toward the Big Thumb when you saw the boat off to your right, said Zero. That means we should have turned right when we left the boat. You sure? Zero drew a diagram in the dirt. Stanley still wasn't sure. We need to go this way, Zero said, first drawing a line on the map, then heading that way himself. Stanley followed it. It didn't feel right to him, but Zero seemed sure. Somewhere in the middle of the afternoon, a cloud drifted across the sky and blocked out the sun. It was a welcome relief, and once again, Stanley felt that destiny was on his side. Zero stopped and held out his arm to stop Stanley, too. Listen, Zero whispered. Stanley didn't hear anything. They continued walking very quietly, and Stanley began to make out the faint sounds of Camp Green Lake. They were still too far away to see the camp, but he could hear a blend of indistinct voices, and as they got closer, he occasionally could hear Mr. Sir's distinctive bark. They walked slowly and quietly, aware that the sounds travel in both directions. They approached a cluster of holes. Let's wait here until they go in, said Zero. Stanley nodded. He checked to make sure there was nothing living in it. They climbed down into the hole, and Zero climbed in next to them. Despite having gone the wrong way for a while, it hadn't taken them nearly as long as Stanley had expected. Now, they just had to wait. The sun cut through the cloud, and Stanley felt its rays beating down on him. But soon more clouds filled the sky, shading Stanley in his hole. He waited until he was certain that the last of the campers had finished for the day. Then he waited a little bit longer. As quietly as possible, he and Zero climbed out of their holes and crept toward the camp. Stanley held the sack in front of him, cradled in his arms, instead of over his shoulder, to keep the jars from clanking against each other. A wave of terror rushed over him when he saw the compound, the tents, the rec room, the warden's cabin under the 2 oak trees. The fear made him dizzy. He took a deep breath, summoned his courage, and continued. That's the one, he whispered, pointing out the hole where he found the gold tube. It was still about 50 yards away, but Stanley was pretty sure it was the right hole. There was no need to risk going any closer. They climbed down into the adjacent holes and waited for the camp to fall asleep. Chapter 44 is next, guys. I'll be doing that tomorrow. Hope you guys are enjoying it. We only have 6 chapters left. Again, one of my favorite books of Louis Sachar's. Again, miss you like crazy, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.